welcome to Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Lara Cotter.
And I'm Sky Orchard.
Still on summer break, but we're coming to you with a special guest. Please welcome Emily Ronquillo.
Hello. It's been a while.
Yeah, some of you may remember Emily. She was on our season 1 recap with us. She was also part of the birth of this podcast.
In the original group chat.
Yeah.
Birth or conception?
Conception. We'll go with that.
I slid into your DM saying, yes, I would be a part of that. And then immediately was like, oh, wait, I can't be a part of that. I don't have that much time.
And then Emily found out we were going to recap Bring It On. And Emily was like, yes, I will be a part of that.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie. I don't watch a lot of movies, so it's a really easy go-to answer when people say, what's your favorite movie? I can just say, Bring It On, and I don't have to think about it.
I'm glad we have Emily. Sky and I have never watched Bring It On before. And so, as you listeners know, generally when we have Sabrina things, I bring the nostalgia view that kind of puts a rosy glass view over everything to counteract Sky's maybe shock of things that are outdated. The Sky and I are both in the shocked category, and Emily's here to provide the rosiness for us.
Nothing but roses. I was a competitive cheerleader like around the time that this movie came out, or like within a year of it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm watching it through the lens of being a competitive cheerleader in the 4th grade also, like young.
I could see how that would also change your perception of it, for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, did you watch this in the 4th grade?
Yes.
Oh,
no.
Cheerleading sleepovers? Yeah, absolutely. I definitely watched this movie in, I don't think 2000, but probably like 2001, 2002. There's a lot of things that went over my head that I now know about.
I get it. That's kind of like how Clueless was for me. There was a lot I didn't get in Clueless. Well, this might be a long one, so we're just going to get straight into it. Like I said, this is the movie, Bring It On. The tagline for the movie is, her parents don't get it. Her boyfriend says forget it. The friends who voted her in now regret it. But till she got game, bet on it. That could have been worded better, I think. Didn't really follow rhythm, but whatever.
Also, it doesn't say anything either.
No. I mean, most taglines are kind of vague like that.
I will say another tagline for it, and I don't know if it was like the DVD tagline is, winning is everything. It's the only thing.
I like that one better. On Amazon, which is where I watched it, the description was, a champion high school cheerleading squad discovers its previous captain stole all their best routines from an inner city school and must scramble to compete at this year's championships. And the way you know that this was made in 2000 is by calling the school inner city. Just like in the 90s, it would have been called urban.
Did you watch the trailer that's on Amazon too? What's interesting about the trailer and the kind of the inner city part is that they added scenes featuring the Clovers, kind of showing them in high school, to only the trailer that aren't in the movie, to make viewers think that they were more part of the movie than they actually ended up being.
Oh, wow. I would have liked to see more Clovers.
Yeah, me too.
It was released on August 25th in the year 2000. It was directed by Peyton Reed from the Ant-Man trilogy, Mandalorian, and The Breakup. It was written by Jessica Bendinger. I was pleasantly surprised to see a female name on the writers. I know there's other writers too, but she also wrote Stick It, which is another movie I desperately need to see, because Stick It is to the gymnastics world what Bring It On is to the cheerleading. And so I only ever hear, like, in the gymnastics subreddit, people talk about Stick It all the time.
That surprises me. You haven't seen Stick It?
I know, right? I need to watch it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Jessica also wrote Aquamarine and First Daughter. We have a lot of stars, or a lot of people in the movie. I mostly just gave credits for people who had actual names, with a few exceptions. And then I only gave lists of what else people were in for like the top 4. Otherwise, we'd be here for 20 minutes just doing credits. So first up is Kirsten Dunst as Torrance Shipman from Spider-Man, Interview with a Vampire, and my favorite version of Little Women. Eliza Dushku as Missy Pantone from Dollhouse, Buffy, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Jesse Bradford as Cliff Pantone from Presumed Innocent, Flags of Our Fathers, The West Wing, and Swim Fan. Gabrielle Union as Isis from 10 Things I Hate About You, Deliver Us from Eva, and Bad Boys 2. Claire Kramer as Courtney.
Also from Buffy.
Okay. Big role in Buffy.
Yes.
Nicole Bilderback as Whitney. Sienina Jolson as Darcy. Rainey Bell as Casey. Nathan West as Jan. Huntley Ritter as Les. Shamari DeVoe as Lava. Natina Reed as Janelope. Brandy Williams as LaFred. Richard Hillman as Aaron. Lindsay Sloane as Big Red. Bianca Kadlik as Carver. Holmes Osborne as Bruce Shipman. Sherry Hersey as Christine Shipman, Cody McMeans as Justin Shipman, Ian Roberts as Sparky Pilastri, and then I added these because I like their names, Marie Cole as Argumentative Girl, Drew Mouser as Been Crying for Hours Girl, Tracy Pacheco as Rappin' White Girl, Alicia Michelle Sassano as Be Aggressive Girl, and Natasha Soul Hawksworth as Start Over Girl. All right. Sky, what were your thoughts on this movie?
It was not the movie I was expecting.
Okay.
I was expecting and have assumed my entire life that this movie, there would be more like tension and competition between Eliza and Kirsten's characters, sort of like a Bend It Like Beckham situation there. And it wasn't that. It was, oh, we're friends instantly there. So that was interesting because, yeah, my whole basis of the movie was assuming like the tension was between the two of them. It was a completely different movie at that point, very quickly on. Yeah, there are parts that did not age well.
No.
At all. But I do love Eliza Dushku, so it's hard to fault anything with Eliza in it.
I also had been led to believe that the Clovers were a much bigger part of the movie. They're really only in 5 scenes, technically. 5 parts of the movie, kind of. I knew the beginning cheer. I thought that came later in the movie. Pleasantly surprised to see that to start us off. Extremely homophobic. I had to keep reminding myself, this was in 2000. This was in 2000. Think about what was being said in the hallways of your junior high school in the year 2000. Yes, this was happening in the 2000s. It was extremely fatphobic body shaming, which again was par for the course for the time, and actually was kind of recognized for the negative thing that it is, which I thought was kind of surprising. They pushed back a little bit on it. Not a ton, but a little bit. I'm glad it ended the way it did, and I'll talk about that more when we get there. I can see why people like it. It's a very quotable movie. It's just so hard coming in as a 39-year-old woman in the year 2026 and being like, this is amazing. All right, Emily, give us your happiness version.
Like I kind of said earlier, it is just a very nostalgic movie for me. It was just the right time in my life. It was just cheerleading was what I was doing after school. And it just kind of reminds me of that team camaraderie. And it really is, I think, the quotable thing. I think that there's so many quotes from the movie that I can just recite. And that's usually not how I am. I don't really watch movies and I barely can quote things. I'm not one of those people. But when it comes to this movie, I feel like I'm quoting it all the time, which is kind of weird because I don't think that there's a lot of instances where the quotes make sense. Watching it today, I do agree. There's a lot of places where it doesn't hold up. I think where it did kind of really push the boundaries, especially for the year 2000, was talks about race and cultural appropriation and kind of how do you reconcile with that. And that part, I think, holds up for me. But there's a lot of, the homophobia and slurs and fat shaming and all of that, is rough to watch.
There's a lot of this movie that permeated pop culture so much. I knew the Burr, It's Cold in Here. I knew that came from this movie. I didn't know that's all right, that's okay, you're gonna pump our gas someday. I didn't know that came from this because that was something that also went around the halls of the school after this came
I
out.
want to know, did UGLY, You Ain't Got No Alibi, did that predate this movie or did that also come from this movie?
Did they say it in this movie? I don't even remember hearing that.
That's in this movie for sure. It's in the regional section. It's a different team is performing to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not even hear that.
A lot of great cheers.
The other conversation I want to have before we get into it is I saw something online that if you look at the subtext, Missy's very much written as gay, and that takes the way that she says some things and turns them differently. Did you guys get that feeling? Do you agree with that statement?
Like I said, I went into this expecting it to be like a Bend It Like Beckham, so I already went into it being like, oh, there's going to be the sexual tension. Elijah Dushku also plays a really good sexual tension with her female counterparts. See Buffy and Faith there. So I can see it written that way, and I prefer sort of that lens, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I also have some bias based on my love of Buffy and gay things and being gay. So
I just wasn't expecting love of Buffy to be the first thing for you to say for your bias.
Love Buffy, then love gay things.
And then being gay.
And then being gay.
When I rewatched it this afternoon, there was a moment when they were at, I think, finals where Torrance and Missy were like sitting on the bed. And I was like, are they going to kiss right now? Like, should they do this? Am I going to look up fan fiction tonight to see what's been written about these two? Because I think it would be interesting, especially because that is like one of the first comments made about her character when she's first introduced by the cheerleaders. They are, using slurs to describe her. But I do also see her relationship with Les. I think also, I'm just like, are these two little gabies just finding each other? So yeah, I could definitely see that.
The discussion I saw was, it was a few queer people talking about the car scene.
Yeah.
And like, if you watch that scene with the assumption that she is also a lesbian, then it kind of changes the tone of that whole scene. And it becomes about like coming out and having a very sensitive conversation in a very safe place, which reads it a little bit differently. Now, if I didn't see this conversation ahead of time, would I have picked it up on it? No, because I don't pick up on... I've seen Clueless how many times, and how many times did I not pick up on the fact that they flat out say, what's his name is gay? So like, I'm pretty oblivious. However, watching this movie post that, it almost reads to me like when they were in her bedroom for the sleepover, I definitely thought it was like, oh, we're going to get like, Missy has feelings for her. She likes her. And then she saw Horns watching her brother, and she was jealous. She read as jealous to me. And then it was like almost like she got over her feelings and decided to like help her brother instead, recognizing that Torrance liked her brother. And so it was like there was kind of like this undercurrent of a character arc of like an unrequited love into like accepting and letting go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think her relationship with her brother is also kind of weird. Like, they're kind of close, but not close. And I've been trying to figure that out. I'm like, are you guys twins? Is he older? Is that like, how old are you? Trying to figure what that relationship really is. So I do think it would be interesting if, yeah, like you're saying, she is all of a sudden like trying to help Torrance and her brother get together, which I think she kind of is.
I will say, I did go to AO3.
Okay.
There are exactly 58 fanfics on AO3 for Bring It
That's
On.
it?
That seems too low.
We're going to make it 60 by the end of the night.
20 of them are a Missy and Torrance ship.
I buy Missy and Torrance's relationship more than I buy Cliff's, mostly because Cliff is a terrible name for a 2000s teenage heartthrob. Well, let's get into it. So we open on a pep rally with cheerleaders, and I was like, oh, Lindsay Sloane gets the first line, and I was like so ready for her to be a huge part of this, and then she was not.
I also did watch this while I was, at the height of my Sabrina, the Teenage Witch phase, watching it for the first time. And I do remember watching this movie being like, is that Valerie? No, that can't be. Is that like being so confused as a child to figuring out if she was or wasn't in Sabrina, because the hair was really throwing me off.
Personality, too.
Yeah. And the personality, very different. I was like, no, that can't be her. And I was like, no, that looks exactly like her. And I was like, but no.
The way she carries herself in this movie versus the way she carries herself in Sabrina, it actually makes me like her more as Valerie, because I'm like, if you can go from like this level of confidence to like making me believe you're actually a sad sack, like you're actually a really good actress. They announced the cheer captain. At the end of the cheer captain Torrance has lost her shirt. She screams and then wakes up.
Some of the fantastic cheer lines we get are, I'm rockin', I smile, and many think I'm vile. I'm flying, I jump. You can look, but don't you hump. Woo! I'm major, I roar. I swear I'm not a whore. We cheer and we lead. We act like we're on speed.
Hate us because we're beautiful. Well, we don't like you either. We're cheerleaders.
I do remember the like, we are cheerleaders. That was also a thing in school. It took me probably too long to realize that this was a dream.
Also, she didn't just lose her top. She's fully naked.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. I thought she just lost her top.
Because at the end, you see both of her pom-poms.
Oh,
and she's
okay.
like covering everything. But yeah, she's fully naked. It's one of those dreams.
There was a moment I saw her topless. I'm like, did her top just fall off?
Which would be crazy. If you've ever put on a cheerleading uniform, those are so hard to get off. They are on there.
I was just like, what school would approve these lyrics? Like, it can't be real.
Like, this is just a normal pep rally.
Tor leaves with her boyfriend, who refuses to kiss her in front of her parents. They talk about him leaving for college.
Can't mac on you in front of the parentals.
They arrive at school. A couple of other girls hit on Erin. He reassures Tor that she'll get voted cheer captain before leaving. Cheerleaders talk in the locker room about who will be the cheer captain. Big Red is the departing captain, and it's her last practice.
Some of the lines throughout this scene are not all about the same person. She puts the ass in massive. You put the lewd in deluded. She puts the itch in bitch, and she puts the whore in horrifying.
This is one of those times where when you finally said it, I finally got what you put the lewd in deluded.
Was that a thing, like a trend to speak like that? Like, it was crazy because it was like one after another. And I was like, wait, we're all just talking like this in the locker room?
In California.
Big Red is announcing the new captain, Torrance. Her job is to lead them to their 6th national championship. Torrance immediately puts them to work doing a hard pyramid skill. A girl falls and gets carted off in a neck brace. Did that give you flashbacks, Sky? Being carted off a field?
I didn't even equate the two. Rugby, cheerleading.
Spinal injuries.
Did you see the way that they like just put an entire just like red layer over the screen when she like hits the grass? So it's just like grass, but it's like all red. And you're like, what is going on? This was, I feel like, my first time that I was just like, where are any of the coaches? Like these high schoolers are just out here just doing whatever. Like this is not how literally any sport ever works.
It was of the time, right? Like 10 Things I Hate About You. Like there were teachers around, but like not really. Clueless, again, there were teachers around, but the teachers were more like fools. So I think it was just like of the time where we just did not acknowledge adults in the world.
I think it was definitely how things are in movies, because it's like literally if you had a coach, then this whole movie would not exist. I think for me too, that's where it's like it's easier for me to read the whole movie as very satirical, right? Like it's not supposed to be like, oh, this is actually how high school cheerleaders act and what they're obsessed with. They're worse.
You're saying your real cheerleaders are worse than what's in this movie?
Real high school cheer, like, and not even high school cheer. Like, the other thing that falls apart for me is that, like, and I mean, I didn't cheer in high school, but I cheered on a competitive team. And the things that they're talking about here is definitely in the competitive cheer world. But not necessarily high school. Like there might be some high school competitions, but not to this level that they're showing. And so it's, you know, the same as being like on a high school team or like a club team. That's also where it kind of falls apart for me. So again, I think if you just read the whole thing as satire on a high school teenage girl's experience being cheer captain and just kind of like the dramas around that, I think it helps a little bit. Especially some of the language as to how exaggerated it can be. You're like, oh yeah, but they're making fun of what this is supposed to be.
I want to go back really quick because you said something. I think I misunderstood you. You said there's no such thing as like national high school cheerleading championship type things? Because there definitely are.
There are, but I have always just viewed this as through like competitive cheer, and it feels closer to that. Like that's my frame of reference. I know that there are. It's just like not this same level.
Have y'all watched Cheer on Netflix?
Is that the documentary in Texas?
That's like a very famous competitive cheering team.
I've seen I think the first season. But yeah, it is intense.
Now there's some drama.
All right.
But they're also all in college.
Yeah.
Like that's a community college.
Right. Well, I finished Welcome to Wrexham, so maybe I'll watch that next.
Well, let us know your thoughts because it's a lot.
Back to Bring It On. Torrance comes home and announces she got captain, then gets mocked by her younger brother. Was her younger brother necessary in this movie?
No. Kill him. Slap him.
No, he was awful, but also just actually felt like a realistic sibling relationship to me. Like, I feel like that's how me and my brother were.
I agree, but I don't think he was actually necessary as a foil. Because she had enough other foils that we didn't need him.
He was just comic relief.
But was it comic?
It wasn't.
Was it funny?
It was annoying.
He was the worst. Again, satire on the teenage drama experience.
Torrance's mom gives her a hard time about not taking harder classes or studying more. Tor agrees to take advanced chem, and we get a reference to a mother hiring a hitman to get her daughter on a cheer squad. And I was like, is this the real life case from Killing the Competition that we're referencing?
I did think of that immediately when I heard that line.
We have weirdly watched a lot of high school sports things on this podcast. A new student arrives in class the next day. Cliff Pantone. What teacher does not know how to say the word Pantone, by the way? When she was like, Pant one? Everybody knows to say how the word Pantone. Come on. Also, Cliff is just the worst name. No one was named Cliff. No one. Some guys call him a loser. He tells them off, but they do it again. Torrance and Cliff introduce themselves. The bell rings almost immediately after the class seems to have just started. The jocks are being jerks and mock the male cheerleaders. The cheerleaders shake it off since the football team never actually wins. Torrance joins Les and hopes they can be lab partners in chem. I thought there was going to be a point to the chem plot line. It is never referenced again.
Never. But she's not meeting her mother's expectations by only being a cheerleader.
Also, we're assuming this girl who sounds like she's like a mediocre average student is just going to go straight into advanced chem. Okay. Everyone's talking about how Torrance broke Carver's leg. It's cheer tryouts. And this is where I was like, what is this timeline? Because they tell us Carver is out for 3 months, which would be March, because she tells us she's going to be out until March. So that puts us in December. So why was the old cheer captain's last practice in December? Why is Torrance's boyfriend going to college in December? They also say that nationals are February 10th and regionals are before that, which would be like maybe a month before nationals at the most. So that would put them in like January. And then also, who is joining an advanced chem class mid-year? What?
I mean, I just assumed that this was August.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't remember her actually saying like that she'll be out until March.
It does specifically say March.
Does it specifically say March?
She'll be cheering in the Special Olympics until March.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That she'll be out 3 months. Or homeschooled for 3 months.
She'll be homeschooled for 3 months.
Homeschooled for 3 months.
And then they clarify later that she's going to be out until March.
So I think that there is, maybe a difference in like her recovery versus her being out. I don't know.
No, I think we reference it again. At some point, we reference the timeline again, and it solidifies that this is December.
What?
Yes.
There's no way. They're still playing football. They go to multiple football games. Football's over by December for high school.
I'm telling you. The timeline is wild. I don't understand.
It's also San Diego, and they're all running around in tank tops.
San Diego is a mild winter, so.
I don't know. If you're from California, which I am, it's below 70 degrees, and you're like wearing a hoodie, and you're like a big winter coat, being like, it's freezing. And I bet you it was like 67 degrees, and they're like, it's so cold. They would not be wearing tank tops.
I do like Emily's interpretation, and I think that maybe it was written weird or delivered weird to make it sound lumped together as far as the 3 months from home and then March return.
I want to agree with that. I'm just saying there's something later on, because I also thought that too. And there's something later on where I was like, no, this also clarifies the December timeline. Cue a tryout montage.
Which is so fun.
My notes from the montage is they should have gone with the ballet guy, and the musical guy is in no way giving 18 years old. He's given like 32.
He is giving 32. That is one of the lines that I feel like gets stuck in my head all the time, especially because I've never seen Pippin. This is my full frame of reference for Pippin. This guy giving his audition, and then he's feeling, is this not the audition for Pippin? She goes, no. The wide range of auditions was crazy. Like the tryouts was crazy.
Yes. None of the tryouts go well until a new alt girl walks in. It's Missy, and she's amazing. She was a gymnast at her previous school. And as you know, gymnasts are famously alt type girls.
Hey, don't put people in boxes.
I'm just saying, if anybody's going to act like a cheerleader.
But okay, wait, do you know, like, do high schools have gymnastics teams?
I feel like I've heard of some that do, but I don't believe they're common.
Do rich high schools.
Yeah, because she's definitely rich. We know this. But
coming from LA.
Because, yeah, I've just never heard of it.
I think it's more club than it is. No, there are some. There's a whole Instagram dedicated to it. Oh, Ohio and Indiana. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, as Cliff seems to mention, I think he's mentioned living in Kentucky. He mentions Detroit later. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I never know. I'm like, did you actually move around, or are you just trying to make yourself seem like you're rough and tough? She lived in Detroit.
They give Missy a difficult combination, and she pulls it off. And we get the very famous line, it's not a democracy, it's a cheerocracy.
Followed shortly later by, you're being a cheer-tater, Torrance.
Two of the cheerleaders continue to insult Missy, and she storms off. Torrance pulls rank and goes after her.
Torrance says, Missy is bank. Courtney says, bankrupt. And then Torrance's compliment is, Missy's the poo, so take a big whiff.
That is one that I would probably quote. And I'm surprised I didn't hear that one more. I don't remember ever hearing that one. Torrance shows up at Missy's house and Cliff is there. He's Missy's brother. Missy claims she's not interested. She's a gymnast, not a cheerleader. Torrance tries to convince her and tells her about cheer competitions. Missy says yes to prove Cliff wrong. I will say that one of my roommates in college, she did something similar where she was a gymnast for a very long time growing up. And then she had some sort of injury where it was like gymnastics was over for her. So then she went to the cheerleading squad. And she had an interesting time fitting in with the cheerleaders because she was so good at like the flips and stuff like that, that they were like a little bit angry about it.
Yeah, I could see that. What does Missy say? She's like, because they ask her, like, have you cheered before? That's always stuck in my head, too. The cheer that Torrance does, the like, awesome, oh wow, like, totally freak me out. I mean, right on. What does Missy say? She's like, let me try to do something with like actual brain cells or something. And I do think I'm like, that would be harder for me. Like, and I'm not a gymnast at all. We did go to a gymnastics gym when I was like, as part of the cheerleading team, and I hated every second of it. I wouldn't even like go on the trampolines. I was like, this is not for me. But putting yourself out there and like actually having to like cheer and scream and yell and smile the entire time is, yeah, I don't think Missy would actually like that.
The cheerleaders demonstrate their cheers to Missy, who looks uncomfortable and leaves. Torrance goes after her and stops Missy at her car. Missy accuses Torrance of stealing cheers, but Torrance denies it. Missy takes Tor for a drive to show her something. I wish they would have stuck between either Tor or Torrance. Like, they started off with Tor, and then nobody else called her that nickname, and it was Torrance the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's just Aaron, who I also, like, that line also gets stuck in my head when he first picks her up, and he goes, I got the door, Tor. But yeah, just Aaron.
I think eventually I start calling her just Torrance, but it's going to be a minute in the notes. They arrive at an LA high school where cheerleaders are doing the exact same cheers Torrance and company just did. Torrance looks on in shock. Missy and Tor leave, but are confronted by the Clover cheerleaders outside. They know that Big Red was stealing their cheers for years. The Clovers have had the best squad for years, and this year they're actually going to make nationals. Isis demands that they hand over the tape, but Missy assures them they didn't film anything. Isis and the rest of the Clovers leave. Missy and Torrance leave. Torrance is distraught. She thinks she's cursed. And we get a flashback to summer cheer camp where Torrance takes the spirit stick and drops it on the ground. Missy laughs at the story. Torrance gets home and is immediately harassed by her younger brother again. She gets on the phone to call Aaron, but he's not available. Torrance tells the squad about how Big Red screwed them. Everyone swears they didn't know. They don't agree with changing the routine, though.
Let's not put the duh in dumb.
They don't care, and there's no way to prove it was stolen. When Missy pipes up, somebody says, sorry, new girl, but nobody hit your buzzer. I do understand the one-liners of this movie. There's a lot of them. It's definitely a quotable movie.
So I do think, like, right here, though, it is important to notice that, like, Torrance is trying to do the right thing immediately. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, like, yeah, this is bad. Like, Big Red has been stealing all these things, and I don't want to stand for this. And then the team's like, no, why would we do that? Like, you know, it's really just her and Missy at first trying to do what they think is right and moral.
These kind of sports, it's interesting when you start talking about stealing things, because so much of it it becomes like the next hardest skill, and then everybody's trying to do that hardest skill. It becomes like the next most popular thing, and then everybody starts doing it because it's what's winning and it's what's doing well. So it is this interesting conversation of like, how do you steal an artistic idea like a dance?
Yeah, and I think Aaron brings that up later, where he's just like, everyone's doing the same routines. Like, this isn't unheard of.
Now, over the course of a 3-minute routine, if beat for beat, it's the same, like, yes, that's a different story. But the, like, brr, it's cold in here thing, I can see that just taking on because it is catchy to the point where, like, it becomes a thing that a lot of teams do. I don't necessarily think that's something you can be like, no, that's just ours.
I think at this point, they're all pretty... I don't know how many more cheers you can come up with. They're hard, complicated.
Everyone just wants to win. Torrance gives in, and Missy is disappointed, but reluctantly agrees. I was a little bummed on how quickly Missy just, like, rolled over on her supposed ethics.
Yeah.
She's already said, like, I'm not going to be on the team if you're going to do this. So, like, girl, do what you said you were going to do and don't be on the team.
Okay, but what if we're looking at it through this lens and she has a crush on Torrance?
Yeah, she likes Torrance.
Because that drive to LA, they just drove to LA after school, 102 miles to LA.
It was the Spirit Stick story that did it for her.
The Spirit Stick story, and she was like, oh my God, this girl's psychotic. I have to have her. She's like, I will do anything.
Torrance continues trying to call Aaron, but just gets a busy signal. When someone finally answers, Aaron isn't there. Torrance's brother continues to bother her, so she takes his video game controller. Torrance, Les, and Jan pick up Missy from her house wearing her new uniform. Missy continues to mock cheerleading on the drive to the game, where all the cheering in the world couldn't help their football team. They talk about everyone's sexuality, and I was physically uncomfortable during the conversation where they're talking about the finger slip. I was like, my body tensed up, and I was so physically uncomfortable.
It was gross. Because then you watch him do it.
Even for the time period, I have a really hard time letting this one go. It's inexcusable.
And it's sort of left off with just, oh, you're a sick man, Jan.
Yeah.
Which isn't cool.
And neither of the girls calls it out. They just, like, Missy laughs at it.
Well, I think at first she's confused, too. She was like, where does your finger slip?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's like, wait, what? Like, so I think that was her being uncomfortable. But again, in this kind of like, wait, what did you just say to me?
Again, going back to, I know we just had a discussion about the car scene and how some people view it as important to have, like, the sexuality conversation. I honestly think if we just didn't have the car scene, it would be a better movie.
Well, and I want to know what the sexuality conversation really adds to, because I did think that it was very bold of Missy to just turn to Les and be like, and what is your sexuality? Like, that was crazy. Or I guess she turns to both of them, and then they're like, Jan's like, oh, I'm straight. I do this thing. And you're like, whoa, like, crazy thing to say. And then Les just says, I'm controversial. Is that what he says?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and again, it's still left like ambiguous of like you as the viewer have to still interpret what he means by that, which could still be plenty of things. But I did think it was kind of crazy for her to just like outright ask, like, wait, what is it?
I'm wondering if they're trying to show that like California at this era was like more progressive and like we can have these conversations in the open in this kind of setting, whereas it very much still was not happening in the open like in Utah in 2000.
Yeah,
I did appreciate the term dicadelic.
Yes. And I love that she immediately thought Courtney and Whitney were together, because I was like, actually,
well, we're done with that scene. So yay. The football team goes on the field and no one cheers for them, but everyone cheers for the cheerleaders. Missy awkwardly yells with the other cheerleaders, but then gets into it. Her brother shakes his head and reads a book. The two football teams trade insults, then get into a fight. The opposing cheer squad tries to taunt them, but the cheerleaders fight back.
That's all right. That's okay. You're going to pump our gas one day.
I definitely said that to some kids in junior high, having never watched this movie. The game starts and the Toros are awful. I could not remember the name of their high school to save my life throughout this entire movie.
Rancho Carne.
There we go. I was like, carne asada?
Beef? The beef ranch? See, I think actually this whole movie is satirical, because even when the footballers like get into a fight before they start playing, one of them jumps on the other team and fully wraps his legs around the other football player. Like,
it's the best way to fight somebody.
Yeah. You just fully like wrap your legs around them.
Leech onto them so tight. The game starts and the Toros are awful. The cheer squad leads the crowd in a cheer as Cliff smiles at Torrance. Jan sexually assaults Courtney. And when they were talking about it in the car, it was like kind of played off as this like, oh, she doesn't mind, or oh, she secretly likes it. No, she was quite upset.
Yeah.
She was very upset. Courtney and Whitney accuse Torrance of having cheer sex with Cliff.
And say, don't play dumb. We're better at it than you.
The Clovers have arrived while the Toros are cheering. The Clovers cheer along with them, then call them out for stealing. Everyone oohs. Courtney still wants to use their stolen routine, but everyone votes for a new routine, including the crowd.
I think this was interesting because without the context of who these girls are, the Clovers, like you would have no idea that that's what's really happening. I think a lot of the people in the crowd at least would assume that they were stealing the Toros cheers, you know?
I think because like the subtext is that the Clovers are doing it and the Clovers are better at it than they are.
I think if I witnessed that, I'd be like, who are these girls? What's going on? Why are they doing the same cheer? And I think back to like what we were talking about earlier, it's like kind of like, I just assume all the cheers, everyone knows all the cheers. You know, I just don't think that I would jump to that conclusion that, oh, these girls showed up and they're doing the same cheer and they know the same moves and everything. Our 5-time winning national champions must be stealing their cheers and we need a new thing. But good for the plot.
Also impressive that the crowd could hear this entire conversation about needing a new routine. Torrance is spending the night at Missy's house and talking about what happened at the game, but Torrance has terrible breath. She goes to the bathroom to brush her teeth, and I for sure thought she was going to walk in on Cliff in the bathroom. I thought this was wherever this was going. But she walks past Cliff's room where he's jamming on his guitar. Missy catches Torrance watching him, and she asks where the bathroom is again. Torrance brushes her teeth and Cliff joins her, and they both have terrible brushing technique because you're not staying in one area for 30 seconds and getting it clean. You're just going everywhere. And then they have a weird spitting competition.
Yeah, they were flirting.
That was one of the most uncomfortable heterosexual flirting sessions
awful.
I have ever seen. Compare that to like Torrance and Missy leaning in close together and talking. Like, one clearly wins.
Yeah, literally 10 seconds ago, right? Where she's just like, oh, your breath stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. And it was so long. It was so long. I was like, I don't want to brush my teeth next to people. Like, I want to do this on my own. Please. That was weird.
Aaron finally answers the phone when Torrance calls from Missy's phone. And I'm like, is that a long distance call that you're making at like 6 a.m. in your friend's room?
I don't think it's long distance. He didn't go that far. I love that Missy just like kind of like pops out of bed and is just like rolling her eyes at Torrance. Like, what are you doing?
He says he's busy with school. She tells him all about the stolen routines and he promises he didn't know, but that it isn't a big deal. He tells her to hire a choreographer, Sparky Pilastri. They hang up and he goes back to sleeping with another girl. Torrance calls the choreographer. Torrance approaches the rich girl on the squad, whose name I can't remember.
Darcy.
Is Darcy also the SAT vocabulary girl?
Yes, and I'm obsessed with all of her vocab words.
They can't give her 2 personality traits. She needs one.
Well, no, and she's the one with the fat ass. Like, okay, she's got 3.
Too many. She needs 1.
I know. She's hot, she's rich, she's smart, okay? Darcy supremacy.
All right, so Torrance approaches Darcy about getting money from her dad for the choreographer. She thinks she can get $500, which means they need to raise $1,500. They do a car wash, and there's a shot with the platform sandals. I was like, ugh, those platform sandals. Cliff comes over and stares at Torrance.
I liked that, like, originally the first person he sees is Missy, and you just see a shot of her bikini, and he goes, ew, I didn't need to see that. And I'm like, you showed up to a car wash where you knew your sister was in a bikini. And then she calls over Torrance and goes, my brother wants to look at your boobs. Come over here.
His sister stops him from staring and calls Torrance over. He shows her his very dirty car. And I was like, why does everyone have a vintage car at this car wash?
It's San Diego. They got money.
But the dad can only give $500, not $1,500 or $2,000.
That was crazy to me, though, because I was like, yeah, Darcy. But I was like, between then, like, surely Missy and Cliff's parents have money. And Torrance later asked her dad for money. So I was like, why didn't she go to her dad to begin with?
Yes.
Between all of them, they could have raised $2,000 easily. But it's more fun to have a car wash.
The choreographer shows up, he starts his music, then begins his routine with the Macarena. And I was like, oh, everyone's going to laugh and say how horrific this is, and they're not going to use him. But then everybody lines up when he tells them to, and then he starts insulting them. He has them doing bar routines and body shames them. We get a sort of training montage until he freaks out over spirit fingers. And I was like, oh, they're actually taking him seriously. Like, I thought this was going to be the comedic relief. Like, look how bad he is. We can't use these routines. He started off with a Macarena and they took it seriously.
This was the point in my rewatch tonight where I was like, I think actually this movie is funnier if you watch it as satire. Just how he acts the whole time. You're just like, oh, this is crazy. Over the top. He's breaking chairs. He's doing the same hand movement for spirit fingers.
Yeah, I was shocked when they played this as serious. And I was like, oh, okay.
I also, in my memory, I remember him looking so much older, like kind of like creepy, sleazy guy. In watching it today, I was like, he actually looks younger. Like, I feel like he could probably be like in his maybe late 20s and just like scamming all these people out of it. Like, be like, oh, I just got my dance degree from UC Santa Barbara, and now I'm just going to scam all these cheerleading things into telling them that cheerleading cheerleaders are dumb and dance is superior, and then just like do all these dance routines to this crazy song.
That is a fight,
yeah.
though, between like cheerleaders, gymnasts, and dancers. I've heard dancers make these comments before about these other two sports.
Just crazy. They're all just sports. Let us all just sport. Let us sport together.
No.
Missy and Torrance are practicing the routine, but Missy hates it and walks off. Torrance sadly sits on the swing. Cliff joins her and tells her to just quit, but then gives her a pep talk. They almost kiss, but Missy comes back out. It's regionals. Missy is overwhelmed and watches everyone. Courtney gets into a fight with a little kid.
Courtney says, I'm going to cut your ass, you evil whore. Little girl says, get over it, hag.
That may have been the best part of the entire movie.
But then she stomps on her, and then it just ends up with Courtney and Whitney fighting each other in line. And I was like, they do need to make out. Like, they would just resolve so many things between them.
The teams are competing and the Clovers arrive. Their routine is amazing, and the Toros watch it in awe. My one thought was, like, it's so obvious that Gabrielle Union is not a cheerleader because they just have her stand in one spot the entire time and just do, like, arm movements. Which I also know Kirsten Dunst's not either, but I feel like the way they cut her is a little bit different to show, like, she, like, shows up in different places on the floor and she's not just front and center the whole time. And I also love that Claire's is a sponsor of this event based on the judges' lanyards. The Toros are being interviewed before their routine. Suddenly, they hear the music from their routine playing. It's another squad doing their routine. Torrance again claims it's the spirit stick curse. The Toros sadly do their routine, which is exactly like the one before it. The Clovers watch and laugh. Big Red also watches in horror. The crowd is silent. The judges are unimpressed. The Clovers make fun of them as the Toros leave the stage. One of the event officials stops Torrance to talk to her about the routine. Meanwhile, Cliff tries to say hi to her, then makes fun of Missy. I was really annoyed when Missy was like, hey, don't interrupt her right now. Something serious is happening. And Cliff is like, whatever.
It's because he thinks that she just blew him a kiss out of nowhere and is like, oh, she likes me. He's riding that high to be like, oh, but it's me.
Read the room. Read her facial expressions. Listen to your sister. I know you don't take cheerleading seriously, but clearly this means something to this girl. So, like, give her some space. The officials tell Torrance that the choreographer has given the same routine to 6 teams. Unfortunately, there's no precedent for this, so they won't be disqualified, and they have an automatic pass to nationals as last year's champions. I was like, that seems like a bad system to just be like, oh, you won last year, you to go straight on through.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting though, because I'm like, how did you find out that 6 teams have this same routine if so far that we know, like, only 2 teams have performed it?
If it's anything like gymnastics regionals, I would assume like there's multiple events happening simultaneously, and there may even be like 2 or 3 days for each location. So it may have been like on a different day that this happened, or people who were supposed to compete the next day saw this happening and went up to the judges and were like, hey, guess what? We also have the same routine.
True. It was just so immediate after it happening that I was like, sir, so much information.
Well, they spent all the extra time they could have given to this scene on a 3-minute long toothbrush flirting montage. So
True.
Could have gotten a lot more story in those 3 minutes.
The Toros are going up to nationals, but they need a new routine for finals. Big Red then confronts Torrance for screwing up. Her mistake wasn't borrowing cheers, it was making Torrance captain.
Yeah, I do want to say this is actually my all-time favorite line from the movie that I do quote often, mostly at work when I'm frustrated with people, but I love when Big Red goes, platter, nationals. I do that all the time. No one knows what I'm talking about.
We'll have them listen to this episode.
That to me is my most quotable and most relevant to everyday life line from the movie.
I can see how that can be useful. Well, Aaron is also there. He decides to catch up with Torrance and tells her to ignore Big Red. He reassures her that he still cares about her, but says that maybe she's not captain material. Aaron drops Torrance off and kisses her. She stares at him when she's out of the car, then walks to her house dejected. Cliff is on her porch and is surprised to see her with a guy. He hands her flowers and leaves as Torrance cries. Torrance listens to the mixtape Cliff made her. It's a song he wrote for her. Torrance realizes it's actually kind of good and weirdly bobs her head to it, then dances around on her bed. Like, supposed to be punk rock headed bobbing, but it doesn't really come off that way. It's very weird. It's a very weird choice. And then she grabs some pom-poms while she's dancing.
Some of the lyrics include, I love your pom-poms, I'd bring you bonbons. And I'd bring you flowers every day just to roll you in the hay.
I 100% thought this was going to be the music to their new cheer routine.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well,
I assumed this was where this was going.
you're not wrong.
But no, they don't use this in final routine, do they?
Yes, they do. Oh my God. Yeah. It gets cut in there.
Okay.
And then it cuts to him and he's like, yeah. They do snip some of it in.
Okay. Torrance arrives at practice and Whitney and Courtney accost her, accepting her captain position. They also announced that they're foregoing nationals this year. Torrance yells at all of them. She's not resigning.
Torrance says, "You're gonna have to kill me first." Whitney says, "That can be arranged."
Do these girls like each other? They don't like each other, right? None of them do.
Well, Whitney and Courtney might like each other. Missy and Torrance do like each other.
She believes they can do it, even though there's less than 3 weeks to national. Courtney and Whitney reluctantly agree to it. Torrance lays out her plan. Getting in physical shape, using game night as practices, learning different types of dance, and drawing inspiration from everywhere they can.
Swing dance, interpretive dance, mime, martial arts, musicals, etc.
I also feel like getting in physical shape is like
That should already be there, maybe?
Yeah.
step number 1.
Especially in 3 weeks, because now we're at like, what, February? Which I thought was also crazy because there's, again, no football happening at this time. Maybe basketball, but they have not said anything about the success of the basketball team and if they're using basketball games as cheer practice, which I do think is probably a better place to practice if you do your routines during the halftime show.
What would have been funny is if they had the same guys playing multiple different sports.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And they were like on the basketball team, they're at the baseball team, they're
Yeah.
on the lacrosse team, they were on the swim team.
Yeah, don't have
and,
to recast it. Just Jock 1.
Jock 1, Jock 2.
and it's the same 2 guys. And every time we see them, they're in different uniforms for different sports, and they're just insulting the male cheerleaders again. And they suck at all the sports they play.
What if we write a script to rewrite this movie that's not a sequel? Like, I know that there's like 4 or 5 sequels to this movie. I've only seen like 3 of them. Yeah, I think we could rewrite this and make it better. And this has to be in there.
Web series.
Web series, we could sell it to Dropout. Yeah, I think they could go for this.
Torrance shows up unannounced at Erin's dorm room. She confronts him about not believing in her, then breaks up with him, and finds out he's also cheating on her.
You're a great cheerleader, Erin. It's just that maybe you're not exactly boyfriend material. Bye-bye.
I did think it was crazy, though, that he called Courtney and Whitney to be like, I told her to not be captain. You're going to be captain now, all of this, that he like did all of that behind her back. Like, that was insane.
I was shocked to find a girl in his bed. I thought we were going to zoom out and it was going to be a guy. And I was like, just expecting that.
Well, also the brother, little brother, like had that huge, like more words than he says any other time about how he's gay and now he's like scamming her with other guys and whatnot there. So there was foreshadowing. Red herring, I guess.
For it to be a girl who's like, ew, you're a cheerleader? It would also make sense for why he doesn't want to kiss her in front of her parents if he's secretly gay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying we could rewrite this movie.
Put the script on AO3.
Yeah, we could do it.
Missy tells Torrance that East Compton couldn't raise the money and isn't going to nationals. Torrance is upset because she wants to compete against them to prove the Toros are the best. Torrance complains to her parents about how unfair it is that East Compton can't go. She convinces her dad to ask his company for a sponsorship. The Clovers are writing to a celebrity to ask for money for nationals when Torrance comes in. She hands them a check to go to nationals from her dad's company. Isis tears it up. She tells Torrance to do her best at nationals so that when the Clovers finally beat them, everyone will know how good they actually are. I was actually so upset at this point. I was like, this is it. This is how this ends. We don't get a showdown with the Clovers. I was so convinced that this was the end of the Clovers storyline. I was very upset. Also, I understand where Isis is coming from, that she doesn't want to take charity or pity money and she wants to earn it on her own. But it is insane that she is doing that at the expense of these other girls who have worked so hard to turn down a sure bet of them getting into nationals. I was so upset when she tore up that check. Torrance tells Cliff that she broke up with Erin and screams that Cliff believed in her. Missy practices the cheer routine while Cliff mocks her.
Hanging out with the airheads has really sharpened your verbal skills, huh?
Which Darcy has an impressive vocabulary. Missy tells him that he needs to get over himself and tell Torrance how he feels. The Pauletta show is on, which I think Pauletta is supposed to be a stand-in for Oprah. Yes?
That's what I assumed.
And she reads the letter from the Clovers. Pauletta agrees to send them to nationals. It's nationals! Torrance tries calling Cliff, but he doesn't answer. And we get some creepy commentary from ESPN2.
Lock your door, bolt your windows. Daytona, Florida has been invaded by teenage cheerleaders. And what do they want? The chance to be the #1 cheerleading squad in the country. You know, in high school, I couldn't pay a cheerleader to talk to me. Now I'm surrounded by them, and let's face it, any sport that combines gymnastics, dance, and short skirts is okay by me.
And it's so annoying that this was so commonplace and so just unremarkable of a comment back in the day.
It reminds me, I recently watched Pitch Perfect again, too. And I feel like the commentators in that movie are like playing up these things because I'm like, yeah, this is real. Like commentators were actually saying these things. So, and it is gross, but look where we are. So I did think that it was weird where Torrance was like asking Missy if her family or brother was going to be there. And she was like, I have no idea. And I'm like, girl, you flew to Florida. Like, we should know if he's in Florida or not. Like, you're across the country.
Torrance approaches the Clovers and tells them to watch out on going out of bounds. Isis then gives advice back about one of the Toros. It's prelims. Some teams have girls fall. The Toros and Clovers move on. I for sure thought we were at least going to get fake names of some other teams, and they were just like Toros and Clovers, and I was like, all right. Everyone is back at the hotel. Missy and Torrance have a sweet moment.
Yeah, kiss. I really thought they were going to kiss. I've seen this movie so many times, and I was like, whoa.
It's finals day. Everyone is getting ready. Courtney can't find her spanky pants, which is the worst name for an object of clothing. Torrance's brother has the spankies on his head. Missy grabs them back and hits him. Another team has a girl that broke her nose and lost a tooth. Les flirts with a guy from another team. Another coach gets thrown up on, and that girl did not pass for 18 either. She's a very mature 18.
She almost looked very similar to the stripper that was in the audition. Like, the stripper was also very old.
Isis gives the Clovers a pep talk. They're up. The Clovers do their routine. The Toros watch as the crowd goes wild. Missy points out Cliff in the crowd to Torrance. They smile at each other, and she gives a pep talk to the team. The Toros do their routine. The Clovers now watch as the crowd goes crazy for them. The mime stuff in their routine was weird.
But original.
What if they did like some like Bob Fosse like choreography? That would have been better. The mime stuff was weird. It's time to announce the winners, and I was getting stressed here until they said the Toros get second place. Everyone is still happy with this, and the Clovers win. I 100% thought they were going to have the Toros win, and I was going to be so mad about it.
Well, and I think it's really important too in that when they announce it, like the whole team is kind of silent, and then it cuts to Courtney. Courtney's the first person to say like, hell yeah, second place. And she's excited and getting the team excited after she spent the entire movie being like, you know, we're not going to change this, or we're not going to go to nationals. Like, we're not going to do this. We're the best, like all of that. And then she's like the one rallying the team to be like, second place is still good, you know, like that's still a worthwhile accomplishment.
Yes.
So,
that was such a better ending. I was really glad that that's how it went out. Isis approaches Torrance and tells her they were good. Missy then taunts Torrance with a spirit stick. Torrance doesn't believe in curses anymore and lets it fall to the ground. Then grabs it and says they're going to burn it. Cliff comes to congratulate them, and Torrance aggressively kisses him. We get credits where everyone is dancing, and there's different outtakes of different scenes while Hey Mickey plays. And that is the end of our movie. Final thoughts.
Make it gay.
Everything's better gay.
yeah.
That is our final thought.
I think so.
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't know what else. I feel like we've been very clear. We could, yeah. This movie has a lot of potential.
Stay tuned for our new web series.
Yeah. We'll drop the scripts on AO3. I'll make a new AO3 account so you can't find. You make us something witchy pod username at AO3. And we're just rewriting all the scripts to make them gay.
So I'm going to talk to Sky, season opener of season 4, about potentially doing a Patreon. And maybe that will be part of our Patreon.
Ooh.
Join the Patreon to get the gay Bring It On script.
We can start writing. It's an extra, like if you pay us $50 a month, then we'll dramatically read it to you. We'll do a table reading of our
table
read.
Oh, actually, that'd be amazing. We could sell tickets to that. We got to get a bunch of friends involved. I think we could.
Something witchy live, but it's Bring It On.
Gay Bring It On.
Gay, bring it on. I did notice too, rewatching this movie, that there's only one time I noticed that they actually say bring it on. There's a couple times where they say bring it.
Yes.
The only time I clocked someone saying bring it on was when they were at the football and they were cheering, and you're kind of like, Missy's kind of being awkward, and Torrance is next to her and she just goes, bring it on. All right, girl.
I did hear someone yell, stick it.
Stick it. Yeah. I mean, this was my first real, my introduction to Kirsten Dunst, who's obviously done a lot. She had done a lot before this and a lot after this. And so it's great to see her still thrive. But I do think it was nice that she was actually 17 when they filmed this.
Yes.
And it was a kind of breakout for her transition from being a child actress to more adult things.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for being here with us for this special summer break episode.
You're welcome. I will talk about Bring It On all the time.
When I watch Stick It, I will let you know.
Yeah, that's also a good movie. So if we're doing that, call me up. I think I have that one on DVD too, actually. That one, if we want to talk gay movies, okay, there's a ice bath scene in that movie that, gave some people some thoughts.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, wait, Sky, have you seen Stick It?
No, I have seen Bend It Like Beckham.
Well, please share, rate, and subscribe to this podcast. You can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com. Let us know if you would pay for a Patreon for Bring It On, gay version.
We'll workshop the title.
Yeah, it won't be that, we promise.
Bring it gay it on.
Just let's stop right now, Laura.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod. Until next time.
Stay magical.